I want to welcome y'all to a special college football playoff version of the FlemLo 5. This is a weekly news show where we discuss 5 football topics, but today's episode is a special one and it's all about the college football playoff. Today we recapping the games that we saw on yesterday with a focus on the quarterbacks and a few of the other key players from each game. Yo, it's midnight when I'm recording this, so I can get this out in the morning for y'all. It's going up in 2020, so if you're brand new, consider subscribing and enabling the notification bell. Everybody else, all the OG subs, y'all already know what to do, fellas. Cue the wang. So our first game was LSU versus Oklahoma. This was our blowout game. The final score was 63-28. And that brings us to topic number 1, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow absolutely took over this game, bro. 7 passing touchdowns in the first half alone. He had more passing touchdowns than he had incompletions. And this ain't that little throw a 5-yard drag route and some screens all damn day like we've seen from a lot of college quarterbacks, okay? This man was throwing the ball down the field. He was moving in the pocket, getting away from pressure. I saw him throw a touchdown rolling right. I saw him throw a touchdown rolling left. I saw the man going out of bounds, throwing the ball back across his body, completing a pass inbound. Dude was really in his bag. He was making some amazing big boy NFL throws. My Bengals was trending on Twitter because everybody knows we was at home just chomping at the bits because we already know, yo, this is our future quarterback right here. And it's really dope to see because the current Bengals quarterback has a habit of having his absolute worst games in the biggest moments. Playoff games, primetime games, Andy Dog tends to disappear. That game on yesterday was the biggest game of Joe Burrow's life to this point. He's coming off the Heisman and he needs to get this dub in order to get into the national championship game. He goes out there and absolutely just kills it, steals the show, takes over everything. The man finished with 500 yards and 8 total touchdowns and didn't even play in the fourth quarter. We're not talking playing against an FCS school. He's playing against Oklahoma in the college football playoff. Now, granted, Oklahoma is the weakest of the 4 teams, but still, we're talking a college football playoff team. I want to keep this episode kind of short, so I'm going to end this topic with this. If the Bengals do not draft Joe Burrow, you will likely see a video of me burning Bengals gear. That's how pissed I would be. All right, man, topic number 2, a quarterback that I've been covering for a very, very long time. Way longer than I've been covering Joe Burrow, actually. My boy, Jalen Hurts. Where Joe Burrow pretty much solidified the fact that he'll be the number 1 pick, Jalen Hurts kind of had the opposite effect. He was under pressure for most of the day, and the few times that he wasn't, he was still missing some throws that he definitely should have hit. And I hate it for him because the dude's such a great leader. He's endured a lot during his college career. He's accomplished a ton during his college career. But the fact is, he definitely hurt his draft stock with that performance. 15 of 31 for 217 yards, no passing touchdowns, and 1 interception. He did run for 2 touchdowns, but he didn't show enough improvement in the passing game in order for NFL scouts to get excited. And it really, really, really sucks because this is kind of the final image that NFL teams are going to have of Jalen Hurts. Now, when he goes into these meeting rooms, bro, he's definitely going to win a team over, and he might be able to, through the draft process, kind of get that stock back up. Now, this was a really bad game for him, and his defense didn't help him out, and other players on his offense didn't help him out other than a few, and we're going to talk about one in just a second. But the play that really jumps out to me is that wide open slant that CeeDee Lamb ran. This was maybe a 10-yard pass, maybe. This was as easy a pitch and catch as you're going to get, and he misses them. Like, he misses them pretty bad, you know what I'm saying? They would go on to score on that same drive, but it's just stuff like that really sticks out. Now, with that said, he did make some good throws down the field, but he just showed a lot of inconsistency in his accuracy and in his decision making. One thing you can always say about Jalen Hurts, man, he didn't give up. He showed a ton of heart, but I'm sure this was not the look that he wanted for his final college game. All right, topic number 3, we're going to stay in the LSU Oklahoma game before we move on to the next game, because I want to talk about the lead wide receivers for each team. We're talking CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jeffries. Now, CeeDee Lamb is just electric. Dude is elite. And even though Jalen Hurts didn't have a great day, CeeDee still got off. 4 grabs for 119 yards. He actually should have had another long touchdown and helped Jalen's numbers a bit, but he dropped a wide open touchdown kind of in garbage time toward the end of the game. Regardless, this dude is one of the best, if not the best receiver in college football. But the best wide receiver performance in this game goes to Justin Jeffries. 6'3", 195, made contested catches all day. Showed amazing ability to adjust to the ball in mid-air, and he caught 4 of Joe's 7 passing touchdowns. All right, so Joe Burrow definitely leaned on him heavily, and he honestly could have had more TDs, as Joe actually missed him a time or two, you know, kind of later in the game when it was really already over. Still, he had 14 receptions for 227 yards with 4 touchdowns. Those are RTG numbers, absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see what he does in the national championship game, and he's got nearly identical numbers to CeeDee Lamb on the season. Same amount of touchdowns, same amount of receiving yards. The big difference is he's got a lot more receptions and obviously a lower average yards per catch than CeeDee does. What that shows me is he's not just relying on the big play. He's a guy that can also help you just get the first down and keep the chains moving, and he can go deep and get the touchdown. So dude is serious. All right, man, let's get to the good game. Clemson versus Ohio State. Final score, Clemson takes it 29-23. All right, I'll keep it a buck. Technically, this is more than 5 topics, but I'm just gonna jam some of these together so we can stay on brand. It's the FlemLo 5, you know what I'm saying? Topic number 4, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Clemson definitely started the game off super slow, and I think the fact that they hadn't really played any tough competition all year kind of showed early. It really took them a while to get going, but just as the game seemed like it was getting out of hand, the refs made a targeting call and kicked Sean Wade out of the game. I personally hated that call. I felt like Trevor Lawrence definitely ducked right into it. I thought it was a trash call, I'm gonna just be real. But regardless of what I think, that play seemed to really spark Trevor Lawrence and get the whole Clemson squad going. Almost immediately after that, Trevor Lawrence seemed to wake up. He ended up busting a 67-yard touchdown run. I mean, a great run by him. And then later in the game, he had a 95-yard drive in the last 2 minutes to go and score a touchdown, capped off with the 2-point conversion. Justin Fields played well and executed the game plan. He made some big throws as well and did a good job of escaping the pocket on several occasions. However, when you compare the quarterback's play in this game, the 2 things that jump out are the fact that Trevor Lawrence outgained Justin Fields on the ground by 94 yards. Now, I'm sure most of y'all are aware, when these cats came out of high school, Trevor Lawrence was the #1 rated pro-style quarterback and Justin Fields was the #1 rated dual threat quarterback. So for Trevor Lawrence to outgain Justin Fields on the ground by 94 yards, you know, it's a pretty huge deal. If I'd have told you one of these cats was going to bust a 67-yard touchdown run, you probably wouldn't have put your money on Sunshine. Now, to be fair, this was due in part to Justin's knee injury, as that did limit him a bit. The other thing that jumps out are the turnovers. Justin Fields threw 2 interceptions, and that ultimately cost Ohio State the game. Now, the last pick was a clear miscommunication between Justin Fields and the wide receiver. Not necessarily a bad throw or a bad read, just a miscommunication. Receiver looks like he's going to cut the wrong way, then he falls down. It's just an uncontested pick. Easy interception for the DB. And because of that, Trevor Lawrence ends up getting the last laugh for now. The crazy thing is, man, both of these cats are only sophomores. They'll both be back next year. And, you know, hopefully they'll have an opportunity to meet up again, and we'll see what happens the next time. All right, final topic of the day. We're talking 2 more impact players from that game. The running backs. Chase Young didn't really leave an imprint on this game. He finished with just 1 quarterback hurry. The real playmakers were the running backs for each team. J.K. Dobbins was an absolute beast. Dude had 141 yards on his first 6 carries, okay? He finished the game with 174 yards on the ground and a TD, and he also caught 6 passes for 47 yards. He made Clemson look horrible a couple of different times when he got out in the open field, and he was the go-to guy in the pass game down the stretch. On Clemson's side, the player of the game, in my opinion, was Travis Etienne. Only 36 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground, but he had 2 receiving touchdowns on 3 receptions for a total of 98 yards. This included a 53-yard touchdown receptions in the 3rd quarter and a 34-yard touchdown reception in the 4th, giving Clemson the lead late. He was absolutely the impact offensive player in the 2nd half. Dude's crazy explosive, and he's gonna make somebody's quarterback in the NFL super happy when they can just dump it off to him and let him go get a 50-yard touchdown. So we got Joe Burrow versus Trevor Lawrence in the college football playoff, the #1 pick from this year and probably the #1 pick for next year, duking it out. Who's gonna be the champion? I'm gonna put my money on Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers. Let me know what you think in the comments section. All right, fellas, that's it for this special episode. I tried to keep it relatively short. Hit me up in the comment section, and don't forget to tweet at me using the hashtag #FlemLo5. That way you can be included in the next episode. My name is FlemLo Raps. I'm gonna holler at y'all next time, fellas. I'm about to go to sleep. What?
Yeah, you'll never know quitter, 'cause I'ma go again.